You are not the one who manifests. You are the recipient of what is active in your field. My name is Lucian Francois Mateo St. James. I'm a spiritual epidemiologist, and I'm here to encourage you in knowing with empowered conviction the truth of your transcendent divinity. Today's transmission is brought to you by and is courtesy of the Electric Temple. Now, I view the body as an electromagnetic broadcasting system. I used to work in radio, so I'm a fan of these types of analogies. And it's so in my field that my previous initials were AM, and my current initials, totally non-coincidentally, when I changed my name, Francois Mateo, ended up being FM. So I'm like really tuned into the whole radio thing. But what are you broadcasting out? If you don't have what you want, what are you broadcasting out? And I'm not talking about, here's the thing, is that I'm not even talking about, are the things that you want, have they been presented to you in a material way? Because the material things that you see in front of you, we're living in a holographic fractal reality. And in that, what I mean is that it's incomplete. It's not total. It's transient. It's always moving. It's not permanent. And it does not represent the whole truth of things, because the 3D reality exists in separation from the all that is. And you are the all that is, and I'm the all that is. And everything that can be, everything is made of God. Everything is made of, everything you can conceive of, if it's here on this plane, is made of source consciousness. So that which we see on the outside of us has to then be the illusion. The 3D, the ego, then has to be the illusion, because it exists in separation from the all it is. So it is the non-truth. And non-truth doesn't mean that we don't perceive of it and that we don't interact with it. It's just not the full, it's just not the total, it's just not permanent. So I'm not even talking about if you don't have what you want, then that means that you don't see it in the 3D. Like, no, are you in the state of having? Are you in the emotional resonance of having all that you desire? Or is another way of framing what I'm asking is, are you operating out of the limited conscious, or the limited awareness of a 3D ego personality human self, essentially? The human, the ego, you know, my name is Lucian, your name is so-and-so. Are you operating out of that? Or are you operating out of Christ consciousness, out of the consciousness of, as I like to call it, divinity incarnate, out of the consciousness of the afterlife? Meaning that my ideology here at the Ministry of Assumption Absolute is that everything is already finished. Everything is already done. That we're living a free play sandbox mode type of game where everything is up to you and you get to design your mission, your character, your experiences, and everything here. And what most of us do is we design the replication of a game that we inherited, the replication of a game that we've been told that we should play, or the replication of our own hopelessness, having watched our parents and having watched society play the game in a certain way, and not believing that anything is possible for us simply because we have not seen it. When you are operating out of divinity consciousness, out of the power of your I am, out of your Christ, out of your total, complete, whole unity with everything, then everything is possible because it's already here, because you already have it. And your job then is to tune to, out of the infinite amount of potential experiences you could have, because they're all here. They are all here. You are just not tuned to the emotion, the reception, the acceptance, the truth, and the belief. Belief meaning collection of thoughts, not belief in terms of, is it here, is it not? No, belief being a collection of thoughts. The truth of your wish fulfilled. You're just not tuned to it. And that tuning happens inside. The kingdom of God is within. You are just not tuned to it. You're tuned. So what are you tuned to? Audit your energy. What are you tuned to? Now, what this does come down to is you do need to, is everything is tuning you. Everything is, your subconscious mind collects everything, collects absolutely everything. Your subconscious mind absolutely is everything. It is absorbing everything all the time. The statistic is we can only perceive of 11 to 13 million bits of information. No, rather, there's 11 to 13 million bits of information happening at any moment. What the hell kind of measurement is that? What the fuck is a moment? Happening at any moment. I'm going to pull up the statistic because that might be half right. Happening at any moment, but that we can only perceive of 40,000 of that. I think it's like 40 something. I don't know. I'll pull it up. That might not be fully correct. Basically, we can perceive of a very small amount of things happening. So what is your awareness tuned to? Are you tuned to wholeness, to completeness, to love, to the all that is happening right here, right now, that there's nothing you need to do, that there's nothing you need to effort in order to get? There is nothing you need to do to get. But what is your awareness tuned to? How do you tune your awareness? You tune your awareness with your belief systems being a collection of your predominant thoughts that you repeat to yourself, so much so that they have hardened into something. Your belief systems have now hardened into something that you accept. And the truths that you accept, they have emotions embedded in them. If you've accepted the truth that I have to struggle to make money, okay, well, I have to struggle to make money. That's a series of thoughts that you heard over and over and over and over and over again from somewhere. You accepted that collection of thoughts then as a belief system, and that belief system is charged with an emotional resonance. That emotional resonance might be anger, might be shame, might be guilt, might be hopelessness. So then your electromagnetic antenna radio system of a body is emitting hopelessness, shame, guilt. You might have grown up in an environment where there was a lot of guilt around money on an emotional level, and on the level of belief system, the money is hard to get. I must work hard jobs. I must beat up my body in order to make money. This is why we see people sometimes generationally in a certain type of job. It doesn't matter. It could be anything from a doctor to construction worker. It doesn't really matter, but it's because that child then inherited the belief system that this is the way to make money. This is what I have to do in order to make money. Because that child then then becomes an adult, has not audited their belief systems, has not investigated what they believe to be true and what the emotional resonance of those beliefs is, or just living with it. So what are you broadcasting out? Are you able to, within the awareness of your imagination, sit with the reception of your wish fulfilled? And it always comes down to, on an emotional level, peace, freedom, joy, abundance, clarity. One of those 5 things, for the most part. I mean, I'm sure there's something outside of that, but for the most part, our manifestations are peace, or have an emotional resonance of peace, freedom, joy, abundance, clarity, gratitude, love. Are you able to be in love right now? If you're thinking that love is going to come from a relationship, I don't have a relationship, so I don't have love. Well, guess what? You're going to keep not having a relationship, or you're going to have relationships that bring you back to yourself, because what are you emitting? Imagine your body as it is happening as an electromagnetic field. Well, what is your field saying and what is it feeling? What is your field saying and what is it feeling? And you can say things. You can say, I have a partner, Jim loves me, Pam loves me, Tommy loves me, Judith loves me. But if your emotional state of self, if your emotional resonance, if you're what you're feeling predominantly, if the energy in motion within you, that's what I was trying to get to. If the energy in motion within you is, I was going to say filled with the energy, if the emotional resonance of energy, I'm getting lost in these terms. But, what I mean to say is that if the predominant energies in motion that you're feeling, say, I'm unloved, I'm unworthy, I feel obligated to give more than I receive, I feel I must be perfect in order to attract love. That would be more of a thought, but under that then would be shame. So we just looked at another belief system and then an emotional resonance underneath that. If that's what's in your field, it doesn't matter how much you say that, Jim loves me and Jim is thinking of me. And assuming that Jim then comes into your field, so that's what I'm saying. You're not ever manifesting anything. You are consciousness. You are pure source. You are the all that is. You are more nothing than you're something. We're all individual faces of God. And as an individual face of God, you have the privilege of tuning your awareness in order to create your experiences. In the creation of your experience, you must be intentional. Because it's happening anyway. Here's the thing is that you're already a master manifester. You've been manifesting your entire life. You were programmed, obviously, as a child with whatever was going on in your home environment and society and culture and genetics and geopolitics and local, regional myths. And you were programmed with all of that as a child. And most of us are still living with that. It's gone unexamined. It's gone unaudited. But we have the privilege of getting to tune our awareness in order to create our experiences, to live as conscious creators. You're a creator. You are a creator. You are the God of your reality. You're a creator. That's not what's in question. However, to do so consciously, we must tune our awareness to create a field around us. So if you don't know how to create a field of joy around yourself, I'm not talking about a field that other people are affected by it, but they will be if that field is done in truth, is done in resonance, is done in harmony. If you have, as Dispenza talks about, Dr. Joe Dispenza, heart-brain coherence, to tune to the presence of joy. It's not just joy in terms of I got the stuff that I wanted. Gosh, I just saw a quote. I think it was Deepak Chopra that said, if you're not really happy, this is paraphrased, I'll pull it up. You're not really happy if you're only happy about things and stuff and circumstances, because the minute those things and circumstances are taken away, you're going to not be happy again. Paraphrased. But that's not what he was talking about, is that that's not true happiness. If your happiness is dependent upon stuff and things. So what is your field saying? Are you living in a field of joy? Are you living in a field of abundance? Can you cultivate, gratitude is so great, not because it's about, I'm grateful for, all of the stuff that I have now, and that's what I want to create more of, is just the same thing that I have now, but it tunes your field by thought, by energy, by emotion, by energy in motion, by belief system, by intention. It tunes your field to, I love what I have. It tunes your field to hope, to wholeness, to love, to being in the now. Because when I say that you don't do the manifesting, what I mean is that you're not in charge of every single little thing that happens and how it's going to come to you, but you can tune your field. You can influence actively with intention your belief systems, your self-talk, what you think about yourself, what you think about the world, the probabilities of your success, of your prosperity. You can tune your belief systems, but you also must become conscious in tuning your emotional experiences, your energies in motion, to love, to peace, to gratitude, to freedom. And those are experiences you can have right now. The kingdom of heaven is within. The afterlife is already here. We've just been so distracted by all of these external circumstances. We've been tricked to believe that we live in separation from that which we desire. You are everything. It doesn't matter how many businesses, I know this from personal experience. It doesn't matter how many businesses you start, how many lovers you pursue, how many jobs you take, how hard you try to prove that you're something. If you don't have a field, whatever that something is, if your field is always affirming to itself, around itself, and of itself that I am not that thing. It doesn't matter how many people you date. If you feel inadequate or inferior, all that's going to come into your field is more evidence of that, because you are the evidence of God. It's you, the power of I am. I am is the total, is the all, is the consciousness of all things. Is the shapeless, is the formless, is the total, is the absolute. And you then are an individualized expression of that, meaning you get to exercise whatever it is you select with your belief systems and with the energies that you occupy, what your experiences are going to be, what you focus on. If you wake up every day and you're upset, then you are in the energetics of upset, which is very general, but maybe you're in the energetics frequently of frustration, of lack, of fear. Well, it doesn't matter then what you're trying to tune your thoughts to, because your thoughts then are out of alignment. They're out of resonance with your predominant emotional state. And you're going to see that split in your reality. It's going to be like the best things are happening and the worst things are happening. And if you're split, you're probably going to be more prone to go to the, due to negativity bias, you're probably going to be more prone to fall to the negative side of things and then create more of that. So you don't do the manifesting, meaning you don't do the arranging. Personally, I don't really believe in the whole specific person thing, primarily, but that's just due to my personal experience, because the specific people I've wanted they've been in emotional resonance of hell, meaning I was in hell when I manifested them and they were a representation of that. So now I don't focus on specific people per se, but my own field, my own self, my own kingdom within. And I know that everything, regardless of what state I'm in, that comes into my life is going to be evidence of myself, is going to be evidence of my creation. But by the time that it becomes evidence, you also, another caveat, bonus, is that it's already dead. It's already done. So if you don't like what you're seeing, you don't have to settle on that and say, I created this. This is all I can create. If you like it, affirm it. Bring more of it in. Be grateful for it. If you don't like it, you externalize that. You say that, that's a representation of a belief system that is no longer mine, and analyze, assess, and audit that belief system. See how that thing might be. What did you feel if it was a negative experience? What type of negative experience was it? What did it bring out of you? Which means you have to sit with your feelings. It means you can't scroll and ignore and do whatever you can to deflect. You have to sit with that emotional experience. Our negative emotional experience have so much information in them as to the state of our energetic resonance, who we are, and what we've been creating. But because we're so out of touch with our emotions, oftentimes we have very little influence over what our creations are showing to us, over the manifestations of said creations. So if you don't like it, it's already dead. If you do like it, it's already dead. Sure, you could affirm more of it, but when I say dead, it's already done. It's already here. The meal's already cooked, as I like to say. So if you like it, internalize it. Say, of course, I am that person. Absolutely. If it's not, externalize it. Meaning that is just a product of a state of consciousness or state of awareness, because consciousness is everything, of a state of awareness that I no longer entertain. Understand that state of awareness and begin creating a new one, a new focus. How do I tune to love? How do I tune to abundance? It's all already here. Sit with yourself, sit in silence, and become familiar with all of, like when I say you already have everything you desire, what do you feel? If you're like, oh, hell no, this person has no idea what my life is like, journal that. Get to the bottom of it. Because it's not about becoming anything else. It is about remembering all that you are. And we cannot remember all that we are when we're so attached and identified with the aspects of separation. The aspects of separation would be the traumas that you've been through, the broken relationships, the failures, the mistakes. It doesn't really matter what it is. As long as you're identified with anything out here, any experiences you've had, any pain that you've been through, anything that you've had done to you, your ego has collapsed into a state of here's a limited amount of things that I can label and that I can touch and that I can see and that I can reference, and that is me. Your ego is not what does the manifesting. Your ego can drive your attention towards the awareness of certain features that then manifest, but your ego can only reference what already was. Your ego can already talk about what has already happened. Your ego is not the creation space. Your ego is the label, it's the limit, it's the identity, it's the personality, it's the set of belief systems, it's the predominant thoughts, it's who you think you are. It's all the things you associate with an I, with a self, but that self then, even like, my name is Lucian. Sure, I guess, as I wear a meat suit, and I've changed my name, so what's a name? What's a name? The ego cannot speak to anything permanent. The ego can speak to fragments. It can speak to impermanence, to temporality, to separation, to dissections, to pieces. It is not the full truth. So when I say you are already whole and complete, what comes up? Pay attention to that. What are the belief systems associated with that frustration or that whatever it is that comes up? And what are the emotions? And now you have information as to, oh, this is what my field is in resonance with. So you come into resonance with your wholeness. Sit within the space of self. Sit within silence. Sit within that imaginative, creative space within your imagination. The blackness inside, the void. That is your state of I am. That is your state of everything. Present moment consciousness. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to fulfill. Everything already is. And then you can start with specific qualifiers of abundance, of joy, of peace. But to sit with that, I mean, those are all very similar vibrations. And to sit with the knowing that it is here now, in clarity, in present moment, right now, that it's here. And that as you begin on a more consistent basis to allow that field of joy, of peace, of abundance to become your predominant emotional signal, that your energy and motion most predominantly, it's not about becoming joy. I used to think you had to do things to be joyful. And it's like, no, joy is what's naturally present when you stop doing. When I stopped fighting against all the reasons that I was so convinced that I was insufficient, insecure, and inadequate, that's what remained. Acceptance. Then people, I've worked with people on how to accept themselves. And I went through, as I was learning, a series of different processes and protocols and different things. But what was truest, and this is where I finally arrived at things, is self-acceptance is the opposite of doing. And that doesn't mean, like slow burn and rot and, accomplish nothing in life. It doesn't mean that. But it's like when I'm not acting out of the need to become, the need to be seen a certain way, the need to be validated, the need to get love, the need to be worthy, when I'm not doing anything for those things, and I realize I am whole, I am worth, I don't need to become worthy, I am worth, I am the validation that I seek, I am the love that I seek. Self-acceptance is what's left after you peel apart all of those things. So what is your state of emotional resonance? What are you emitting out? And you will have to sit in silence to uncover this. Because chances are you spend all your time avoiding it. You spend your time playing video games, eating snacks, going out with friends, working hard jobs, having children, doing everything you can to avoid that loneliness of self. You feel lonely. There's a difference between solitude and loneliness. Solitude says, I am everything. I am here and I am everything and I am one. Loneliness says, I am incomplete without another. You avoid that loneliness. The loneliness, you have to feel lonely in order for that loneliness to transmute itself, to ascend into solitude. We don't even want to sit with the loneliness. I'm on social media looking at what my second grade best friend is having for dinner. It's like, what the fuck? What type of value does that have? Do everything. We do everything we can to avoid it, to avoid being with ourselves. But once you get information about the energy and motion that predominates your field of resonance and the belief systems attached, you have an answer as to why you've been manifesting the things that you've been manifesting. But also, hey, it's already dead, it's already gone. You can change that at any point in time. But first, you have to come back home to yourself and know that the kingdom is within. It's all already here. Your I am is already here. All the while, you've been God. All the while, you've been focused on, Sally didn't text me back. Why won't my boss give me a raise? Why won't Junior do the dishes? All the things I do for Junior, he can't do the dishes. President said such and such. That was good or bad, depending on my position. All the while, you've been focused on all of these aspects of separation. You've been God. You've already been whole. It's already all here. With that, signing off of today's transmission, my name is Lucien Francois Mateo St. James, but I'm a spiritual epidemiologist. And I thank you for co-creating this moment with me. Remember to be good to yourselves and others, because everybody is just a version of you anyway.